And we're wiping over. Hello, Tuck.
All right.
What's up?
It's another beautiful spring morning here. 40 degrees. People are wearing their puffy jackets. I'm in my short shorts. Life is good.
Now
How
define
about you,
short
sir?
shorts.
I'm doing the 5-inch jogging shorts this year. It's one of my resolutions.
Huh.
What do you mean, huh? You don't like that?
That's I mean, look, buddy. You and I are large men that
Right.
do not have defined legs.
Oh,
Uh
speak for yourself. I got these sick leg tattoos I gotta show off. Come on.
Fair enough. No, I'm good. I just I think I told you about our New Year's resolution that we're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd been putting it off all week, so I went to the
Did you
gym
go to
this
the gym?
morning. Yeah.
You did? Congratulations.
Yeah, it was exhausting. It was tiring, but it's just building it up. It's just really the
Yeah,
Month of January was just to like be in the habit of trying to go to the
right.
gym. And then February is going to be more of like the endurance because then it'll be
Time to
twice a
go.
week,
Yeah,
and then March will be 3 times a week, which is going to be real like taxing and difficult. And I think I'll cap it like 4 days a week,
sure.
because then it's like worst case I work out Saturday, Sunday, and then find somewhere Monday through Friday to do the other 2 days.
Sure.
I think 5 days a week is a little unrealistic for myself. So
Not for this guy. I also worked out this morning, but I also gained 9 pounds in New Orleans last week. So that was exciting.
well,
It
don't
was a
worry. I
slog
think I put on 9 pounds last weekend just sitting at home. So
being present. What do you, you got some coffee in there or are you just on the water?
no, I got some
Huel.
unsweet zero sugar like tea. So
Oh, okay. Have you been to Bojangles before, the chicken place?
I've never been there. I've heard of it though.
Okay. So they have this they have like their world famous iced tea, right? And I tried the sweet one and I like threw it out. Like it's so sweet. Like you could taste like the diabetes getting in me. So evidently they're partnering with some brewery to make like a spiked version of it.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that sounds like
Not
something you'd
ideal, I
give
don't
someone to
think.
like haze them.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like what was that shit? Mad Dog 2020 still got that bottle from your bachelor party.
I
Don't
don't
know
know
when that
why
one's
the
going to be
Godfather
open.
bought that, man. That was just
Oh,
weird.
I can't give the slurps away. So like our rugby team does a they do like these bar nights where they make and sell jello shots, which is like complicated because you're
Sure.
supposed to only buy your booze from this place or that place, da 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 da. So I was like, hey, like let's cut off the middleman. Let me cut you off in the pass here. Like I have these jello shots that are pre-made. And they're like, they looked at them, they're like, we don't want these. It's like, oh great. Like not only do we not want these because it's probably illegal, but they also look disgusting.
Oh my gosh, because I do not want this recorded for podcast listeners. Um, that my last day at my current company, guess what day it is? I'm
Fat
pretty
Tuesday?
sure it's the day that weed becomes fully legal recreationally in the state of Missouri. Ooh.
Whoops.
Whoa.
You did. They're
Someone.
not making. They didn't make you take a P
No.
test, right? Yeah. See,
No.
I told you. I think
Yeah.
that's like, especially for remote work, it's too. It's like I I have heard rumors that people are saying that it's like it's gonna be in the same thing as like asking someone their age, right? Where it's like because it's legal in some states and not in others.
Mhm.
Like you can't make that as like a mandate. There's something like that. It's some
Interesting.
bizarro thing between like state and federal
Yeah,
laws.
see, like the way that I always understood it is most employers look at the federal level, not necessarily the state
Ah,
level. And so it's like, well, federally it's still not legal, so we
sure.
can just I guess discriminate you, not giving you this job
Right, right,
because
right,
of
right.
that. Um, but yeah, no. Well, all right, let's oh my gosh, my Word doc went crazy. Delete.
Did you add in? Did
I
you add
added
in
in a page and a
SD Sharpie? He's alive.
Of course he's alive. He did
Oh
the
yeah,
CMC game last night.
10 o'clock on a Friday record session. Give me Alex. I'll take $800 for things that Big Tuck will never be able to accomplish in his life.
All right. Well, let's start recording and get this shindig on the road. In
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we go. I'm not drinking
Hey
this quite yet,
guys,
but
welcome to episode 168 of CMD Towers Brews and Builds. I'm Mr. Commodore 5. My fellow host wishes there was more gold in black. Big Tuck.
yes, and I'll take everything that can. Uh this commander this week has really been a struggle for me because I want him in like I would say 3/4 of the decks I play regularly. So we're getting it out there. So hey, how are you? Hello cats and kittens. I've been drinking this mud water stuff instead of coffee. I'm sure you've seen ads for it on the Instagram.
I think I have. Is
Yeah.
it literally just kind of look muddy?
Yeah, I
Like
mean
it's a
it's here.
powder?
Let me this is going to be for the video only or things, but you can see it's like it looks like something you'd see on the road like when you're driving through the hills, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Uh so here's the thing. They purport that it tastes like coffee. I would disagree pretty heavily. It kind of tastes like an iced down chai tea latte, but since I've been doing it, I have noticed it's like I've been pooping way less. I don't get the afternoon crash. I know it's hard to believe, me, the man that lives on the porcelain throne.
Hey, look at you using
So
your bachelor party cup.
there you go. Oh yeah, this thing is. Oh man, this thing's great. I'm worried that I'm like overusing it. You know when you get like a new shirt that you really like, and
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to wear this all the time, right? It's gonna get worn out. Like that's how I feel about these cups because they're so nice that like it's kind of like my coffee slash Bloody Mary cup. But are you supposed to like? Are these supposed to be single use?
What do you mean? Like use it once and throw it away?
No, 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 no. Like this is just my coffee Yeti, right?
No, no. I mean,
And
you
then
could use it for whatever you want. Cold, hot,
you
medium,
just
room
gotta, yeah,
temperature.
because then I got this from my coworker for Christmas, the big boy, and now a couple new things to bring to attention in 23, Mister Combo. One, I'm a straw guy now with my water,
Yes. Let's go.
so I got it's. This one comes with this one that you like, it can't fall out, but the problem is when you take the cap off and you turn it over to rinse it, it just falls out anyways. So,
Well,
big straw guy
that's how
is
you
number
know you're
one.
really becoming southern because that's actually a southern thing. Is doing the straw with literally everything. That's where I picked
Oh
it up.
yeah.
Is living in the
Oh
south.
really? In
Yeah,
Memphis?
yeah.
That's amazing. So you also talked about how I'm trying to look for a new gimmick on Twitter, right? Always.
Okay.
It's constant search. So I think I got it. Even though it's not magic related. So I'm the Whore of the Wings, right? For my running club. That's my name. You know how much I like hot wings, right?
Okay.
So I had this idea of like, what if I put my money where my social media is and do like Wingstagram 23 and just take pictures and document all the hot wings I eat, both in Charlotte and across the US. And then,
Yeah.
and
I
then
think that's
yeah,
good.
that's it, right? That's it. Hot dog. Put it on the
I
list.
mean, I still like the tagging random, even mediocre celebrities
Yeah.
with just like a random thing.
I do need to get back into that. Yeah.
I think that'd
Hey,
be so funny. Like, just like a picture of a coaster, and it's like, I don't know, does this really fit my accoutrement
yeah.
at Hugh Jackman?
At Rob Schneider. Are you a single use service kind of guy or single use Yeti kind of guy? But anyways, that's enough about me, Mr. Combo. What's the word? I know we all got Chiefs fever, yourself included.
Yes, yes. It is at the time of this recording, we are about 30-ish hours, 31 hours away from the AFC Championship game kicking off. So Kansas City is just pumped. Now, granted, we've all been on Patrick Mahomes' ankle watch all week,
Oh,
but the dude's looking good. I mean, I'm sure he's hurt, and I'm sure he's gritting through it for the videos and photos. Um, but he's throwing, he's running. So he's gonna. I know he's gonna do the best he can. And yeah, I'm just I really want the Chiefs to win. Obviously, it'd be cool for us to go back to the Super Bowl 3 times
sure.
in 5 years. But the bigger reason I actually want us to win is I'm kind of tired of like this never happened with Tom Brady. It was never like if Tom Brady didn't go to the Super Bowl and win, everyone looked at him as trash, or
Oh,
hey, the Patriots aren't as good as we all thought, and someone else
right.
is the king of the NFL. That never happened. But there's already all year it was, oh, Buffalo's better. Oh, now towards the end of the year, Cincinnati's better.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's kind of crazy.
Churchill.
All the talk this week is like, well, if the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Chiefs, they're clearly kings of the AFC. Joe Burrow is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. And I just want to say, like, well, can we pump the brakes? Because, like, if they go to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, which we've already done,
Yeah.
and they lose both times, like they lost last year and say they lose again this year, like how are they better than us? I mean, Mahomes will have effectively won 2 MVPs. He threw for over 5,000 yards multiple
Yeah.
times, 50 touchdowns once, was a Super Bowl MVP, won a Super Bowl. I mean, I'm kind of like it's hard for me to connect the dots. Like
Well,
I, I
now
just I just don't get how one team beats you. Yes, and Cincinnati will have beaten us 4 times in a row by that point, but that doesn't just make them the king of the entire conference. That just means like, well, they have like an edge over the Chiefs,
yeah.
but like we still win more games than them each year. So I don't know. It's a bit frustrating.
Well, and I feel like I've heard Cincinnati's a real dump, for starters, or Sin City as you call it, right? I've heard it's like the St. Louis of whatever country or whatever state
Whatever
it's in,
country.
Ohio. I don't know. Ohio might as well be a different country. Listen, for all you fine folks in Ohio, just go ahead and skip the next 30 seconds. Okay, good. So it's like the worst of the Midwest and the worst of the South. It's like cultured hillbillies.
I don't know,
Anyways.
man. I think I'd have to put West Virginia there.
Oh, dude, West Virginia is a different world. West Virginia is its own country. It's like I think I've said this before. It's like when I dated someone who lived and grew up in LA. I was like, this is effectively dating like a foreign citizen, right? Like I have no frame of reference for anything that you've lived with.
Oh man, but yeah, no, we're all excited
So
about Chiefs.
Chiefs fever, yeah,
Yeah, all excited for Chiefs Kingdom. I mean, heck, we're even hosting the NFL draft this here in like 2 months, 3 months, which
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's going to be like absolutely insane for the city. I
So let me,
accepted my new IT consulting gig, so pretty
yeah, it's
excited
so
about
exciting.
that. So yeah,
So here's
a
my question
lot.
for you.
Yeah,
Here's my question for you about the Chiefs before we get off that real quick. So I know there's been some hubbub of them moving. Thank you everyone for listening to Chiefs Talk, your favorite Magic the Gathering podcast. So I know there's been a lot of hubbub of them moving the the stadium to like the Legends, right?
no, not really. So
Is that get kiboshed?
well, that's never been a discussion. So
Hmm.
there's been like little rumors locally of like, well, are they going to move away from Arrowhead?
Right,
Really, what's driving all of this is it looks like Kauffman Stadium is probably going to move downtown. Is
right,
really what it looks like. And what Lamar Hunt, owner of the Chiefs, has already come out and said is like, well, should they decide to do that? Because I think the Chiefs' lease is good through like 2030, 2028, something like that. So we're still there for
right.
5, 7 years. Um, there seems to be discussions of like what they would do with that other stadium. Like, would the Chiefs take over
Oh,
the lease for it and then like maybe turn that into like a practice facility? Do
yeah.
we basically remodel Kaufman into a new Arrowhead and then eventually demolish the other Arrowhead? I
Right,
don't
right, right.
foresee them moving to the Kansas side and the Legends. And for perspective, for people that don't know Kansas City, that would be a smart money decision by the Hunt
Yeah,
family because they'd be getting the taxes from Johnson County, and Johnson County is one of the wealthier counties in the
yeah,
country,
yeah, yeah.
versus where they are right now, which is like Wyandotte County, I think, or Jackson. So, I mean, yes, they're getting support from Kansas City, but it's not like
That's not gonna be near as
it's not the
much.
money that Johnson County pours into it. So,
Yeah, right.
I think it would be
Like,
smart for them, but it's just like I hate saying this, it's a vibe. You can't replace Arrowhead.
it's a
It,
vibe.
I mean, it's like Soldier Field in Chicago
Yeah, right.
or
Or Wrigley
Lambeau
Field, right?
Field in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. There's these iconic fields that you literally just you can't move away from it. You can update it if you want to put a roof over it, fine, but
Right.
you can't replace the tradition and history of it. There's
Sure.
just something there.
Hey, I get it, man. I'm right there with you. So
Well, I know all of you
thank you
didn't sign
everyone.
up to hear about the football. So Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we have conquered our path to 32, tackled tons of EDH themes, we're going to be discussing, or rather theory crafting, a deck that doesn't even exist yet. Each month we'll have some new decks. We correlate how these decks are constructed, similar to how beer is brewed. So we broke it down into 4 different categories. First one's ramp and setting your board state. We call that grain.
And grains are the foundation of every beer. They include both base malts and specialty malts using a 60-40 ratio. This helps with the color, taste, and most importantly, the alcohol content of that beer. Decks always sees ways to grow, stabilize, and ramp into bigger threats. And just like a grain profile, they usually a mix of staples and specialty cards.
And then how does your board interact with all of your opponents? We call that hops.
And hops give the beer its patented bitterness and herbal floral flavors. They grow in a variety of strands and help distinguish subcategories like IPAs. Hop choices help clear and interact with the board so your deck can ultimately do what it wants.
How does your deck actually close out or win games? We call that yeast.
And yeast is the microorganisms that eat the sugar from the grain and poop out alcohol and CO2. It adds alcohol content carbonation, which this non alcoholic beer only has one of. And without yeast, you would be drinking flat sugar water. Without yeast cards, your deck wouldn't meet the goal of actually winning the game.
And then we do have shenanigans, could be fun little pet cards, kind of oddball synergies that we just kind of want to put in there, and we do call that spice.
And not every beer has them, but spices and other additives help separate normal stock beer from a specialty one. It could be the pepper that turns a stout into a jalapeno stout, or additional hops that turn an IPA into a double IPA. Not every deck has something that makes it pop, but if it does, is where we generally talk about it.
And without further ado, let's get brewing. So this week, Big Tuck was our legend selector and choosing to do a theory craft. So Big Tuck, who are we talking about? What are their stats? And then why did you decide you wanted to talk about this particular commander?
Fresh off the presses, coming out in late 2022, we have one of the cards that I feel like Wizards just gifted me 4 months ahead of my birthday in a phenomenal mono black mythic. That is, I feel like this card's insane. So we have Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. So colorless black for legendary creature Prixian Praetor. Like I said, it's a mythic. Also a 3/3. Currently, and I'm glad. So I almost pulled the trigger when we were talking about our Mishra episode, right? Because I was like, this thing
Okay,
is going up, up, up. Now, when at the recording that episode in December, it was like 25. Now it looks like it's snuck back down to around 15, which is much more reasonable for this. And I'm
sure.
pretty sure it's an all-star and standard. So it's a 3/3, whatever. The reason why I like it is because this has two slam dunk tuck abilities. One, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life if they do draw a card. When who's the greediest players in any game? Magic players. And what do they like doing? Drawing cards at no expense, at any expense. So that for me is like kind of good enough. And
Yeah,
then the second part just gets even stupider with 4 colorless triple black. Discard X cards. Exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You may play lands and cast spells among them without paying their mana costs. So you're totally rolling the dice. It's like that
it's the
what's that
Sultai
called?
one.
Yeah. The Villainous Wealth. Yeah, it's like it's like a repeatable Villainous Wealth in mono black that you could do multiple times a turn. So this just my mono black deck, I've like tried warping it around a lot. And this year especially, I've been thinking a lot about like what kind of decks do I like to play. As it turns out, to no one's surprise, the decks I enjoy playing the most are either convoluted, like 3-color rigmaroles, Rube Goldberg, or my goal is to attack you faster than you can do anything else. So for me, I think migrating my mono black into something that fits more of my play style would be really fun. And this has the kicker of that like extra ability that I think you could start abusing pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wish this was a power one or less. God, I'd love this in my Shirai deck. This
Oh
would be
yeah.
so filthy.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that the first effect is good enough. But I'll say this: I wouldn't pay $15 for this card with just that first effect. I feel like
Yeah.
for the financial investment, you need that 7 activated ability.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, the only real bugaboo I have with it, and we'll obviously see throughout this episode, is how it obviously wants to be in a GOAT deck or some sort
Yep.
of incentive where my opponents have to attack each other in some way,
Right.
shape, or form. And Mono Black just doesn't do that very well. So
Yeah. Yeah. True.
I think in the 99 of now, granted, most GOAT decks don't have black. You think of like my KT deck, or you think
Yep.
of the Kitty
Marisi, Breaker
Cat,
of the
yeah,
Coils. Yeah.
Marisi.
Naya.
But I want to say that they did come out with one that might have been Grixis here recently. Maybe was it in the 40K precons? Like there was some incentive.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh
So
huh.
maybe eventually a year from now, 2 years from now, this
Yeah.
will be more of like, oh my gosh, you could build a Go deck around it. But right now, I feel like it's probably stronger in the 99 than it is at the head,
Okay,
just
sure.
because nothing's forcing your opponents to attack
Right.
your other opponents. It's just completely optional, and they very well could say, "Well, guys, yeah, I'm greedy and I'd love to draw cards, but obviously we see what Tuck is doing, so why don't we just kill him?
Right.
Just be done
Yeah.
with it." Um, so
So that's
that's
funny.
kind of
So I built the deck radically different than that way.
oh,
So I'm excited. Mine is like the opponent's clause is like nice. I'm trying to draw a bunch of cards myself so I can get into paying the 7 and then dump like 9.
okay, okay,
So I'm trying to so I'm interested to see what, and also for those playing the home game, we do not talk about our theories beforehand. We do not share card pools or anything. So this is live. This is
live.
live.
If you
We're doing
couldn't
it
figure it
live.
out, 168 episodes in, we don't talk beforehand. Uh, so some EDH rec data. There have already been close to 1,400 decks created,
Wow. Yeah.
1393 at the time of this recording. From a average type distribution, most of these decks are only running 33 lands. Pretty surprising, to be honest.
Good grief.
5 enchantments, 14 artifacts,
Yeah.
9 sorceries, 8 instants, 30 creatures, nigh not a single planeswalker.
Not a single one.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. I like this is probably about right. I'm gonna be more. I think 30. What do you think? 28.5 is the bare minimum. 28 is more. 28 to 32 is more like the
For the
range you want to be
creatures,
in, right? Yeah.
I actually think that there's a cool build of this where you're using planeswalkers, enchantments, and artifacts and other creatures to create tokens because it doesn't state non-token creature
Oh, sure. Yeah,
deals
yeah, yeah. It's just
damage.
a creature. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more looking at it as can I find things that can create tokens for me, but then also they're going to provide some other effect. Maybe they do allow me to draw cards to the number of permanents I have on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they have sacrifice creature clauses to where I can then draw cards. So that's kind of where my mind goes a little bit with that. But I agree. I mean, you probably at least need 20 creatures, bare minimum.
Hmm.
Um, and then from a CMC perspective, which is pretty interesting, the EDH rec doesn't give you the average, but it looks like the average CMC of the deck's probably like a 2.6 to
Yeah.
2.8 on average.
Really, I'm really trying to
Really low to the
find.
ground.
I want to mix like I want my creature curve to curve out at like 3, right?
Mm,
So like a lot of ones, a lot of twos, a lot of, and then a few threes. And I think the way I'm building this too is a lot of times like, well, I'm attacking anyways.
yeah.
So if I can get something, if I can, like, I would sacrifice just a 1/1 flyer that doesn't do anything for a 2 mana 1/1 flyer that does something, right? Like that
Mm.
has an effect on hit or something along those lines, which we'll get into in my a little bit more in my hop section.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive into this, but before we do, we want to give a big shout out to all of our current patrons that help support CMD Tower. It really does mean a lot with whatever you guys can help out with, whether it's our entry level tier or any of the other ones. But if you haven't joined or you've been thinking about supporting us in some way, heading to patreon.com/CMD Tower is literally the easiest way to do it. With our entry $3 tier, you get access, full access into the Discord. Plus, a few other kind of like little soft benefits of, potentially being able to be on an episode, things like that. But then we do have other tiers where you actually do get swag from us. Whether it be card sleeves, it could be our metal tokens, our coins, they could be playmats. Just a lot of different variety there. And heck, if you join a tier and there's not something that fits your fancy in that tier, but you see something on our Etsy store that you'd rather like, you can hit me up, just like Lemony Lennings did. And we could
Oh
shoot
yeah.
you over a discount coupon, so that way you can still get your value. So anything you guys could do would really mean the world. Patreon.com/CMD Tower. Now we're gonna head over to the grain section, and Big Tuck, this is your deck.
Oh yeah.
So, what card do you want to start with?
So I have two that, so it's kind of cheesing it a little bit, right? But I have two pieces in our ramp package I think are going to be critical to the build that I'm looking for, right?
Okay.
One is Thought Vessel,
Okay.
two colorless, and that's it for an artifact that taps for your colorless mana. But more importantly, no maximum hand size,
Yep.
around $3, right? And then the second one is Decanter of Endless Water. That's three colorless, an artifact you have no maximum hand size, and then tap and add 1 mana of any color. In this case, will likely be black. It's about 26 cents. So for me, I'm hoping that I'm going to be having so many creatures attacking each turn that have evasion that I'm going to be drawing a hell of a lot of cards, right? And my end goal is I want to have like a grip of 7, 8, 9, so I can do like, okay, I do 5 here on the first activation,
Sure.
5 over here on the second activation. So even though these are kind of boring picks, I really think having no maximum hand size is going to be critical for this deck working the way I want it to.
Yeah, and I'll just go ahead and jump in with one of mine because this is the same discussion. Reliquary Tower was the one
Oh
that
yeah,
I picked in there. So it's just a land,
nice.
taps for colorless, no maximum hand size. Because I completely agree with you, Tuck. I think you need, like, if you're activating for 7 and discarding 7, that's not good enough, in my
Right.
opinion. Yeah, like we need to be discarding 10, 15, 20. Like you want to do big fat chunks so then that way you're getting more opportunities out of your opponent's decks. It's
Yeah.
very oh gosh, what did Jason Alt call it?
Oh, stop hitting yourself? No, no, no. That
No,
was
no, no.
Sheldon's.
No, and I wanna say even Dana Roach kind of does deck methodology around this, where it's like, whatever your power decks that you brought to the table,
Oh,
that's the power of my deck as well. I can't
your
remember what they
deck's.
called it.
I think I've heard it referred to as like my deck's a 75% deck
There we go.
because it's
75%
three.
deck.
It's 3 of yours and 1 of mine, right?
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
So it's a 75% deck. And so it's like, okay, well, I need access into your stuff as much as I can. But here's the other thing we didn't even talk about. Um, they don't put them back into their library when the effect
Yeah.
is done. Like whatever you don't use,
Right.
they just stay in exile, which I am hot for. Like as many
Yeah.
things as I can, like resource wise, take away from my opponents, and they don't get access to it again. That's great. So I completely agree. Thought vessel, decanter of endless water, reliquary tower, all kind of in that
Yeah.
same vessel.
Nice.
All
All
right.
right.
Well,
What is
what
your
is you?
second? Wait, me,
Oh, okay.
you. Okay. No, you go. You go. You go. You go.
All right. Well, so the next one I wanted to talk about is Deadly Dispute. I think this is a really
Oh,
smart card for this deck. So
wait a
it's
minute.
an
I know this
instant,
one.
colorless black. It's a
Oh yeah.
buck 80, kind of expensive.
I already
It's
got
an
one.
instant, and it says as an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Now I want to pause there because some people might say, well, Village Rites is one cheaper, and it's going to kind of do the same effect. But here's kind of why I think this is good. Draw 2 cards, which Village Rites does as well,
Yep.
and create a treasure token. So I like the flexibility of what we get to sacrifice
Mhm.
with Deadly Dispute, and I do like the treasure token getting paid back because then
Yeah.
effectively this is the same as Village Rites. It's just
Right.
giving you that flex of do I want to do a creature or do I want to do an artifact? Maybe someone gave
Yep.
me a food token, or maybe I got some piece of stacks that I do not
Or
want anymore.
or I
Let
or I
me
already
sacrifice
have
it.
I already have my mana base up, right, with all the doublers and everything, so I don't even care about I don't even care about a Mind Stone anymore, right?
Sure.
Like I'd rather have 2 cards and see if I can find a win con. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is probably close to like a black standard ish in most decks, I feel,
Yeah.
right?
I would
Like
say so.
if not, it's really strong and I think that's reflected by its price, right? I mean, Baldur's Gate Battle for it's gotten reprinted in really popular sets and still is this strong. So yeah, I love it. Great piece to draw.
Cool. So I'm assuming Thought Vessel and Decanter was just a one pick for you.
That's one. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your next pick?
So we talked about this, and I'm pretty hyped because I just got one of these. So I'm trying to build it with low to the ground creatures, activating Yix, and then I got a little hidden surprise for you near the tail end of it, which you should be able to figure out shortly. But I want as many ways to make my mana big, right? Like
Okay.
this is big black mana energy. I want to go for it. This is a card that I've wanted for a really long time, and luckily I ordered one and forgot about it because it came in a secret lair. But I think doubling cube can do some really
I
dumb
was
stuff in this deck.
literally about to say doubling cube.
Wait, was that one of yours?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
I
okay. I
knew
thought
exactly what you were doing.
okay. So 2 colorless for an artifact. It's three colorless tap it, and then double the amount of each type of unspent mana you have. I just got ironically the secret lair drop is now the cheapest copy. It's $7. So hopefully I can fleece it over to those Italian guys when I go to SCG Con Charlotte. So, anyways, I have Urborg, Nykthos, The other one that's
Cabal
worse
coffers.
than Cabal coffers. And then there's even another one that's like Cabal Stronghold, I think, that does it even
That
like
just
less
does it for the
efficiently.
basic lands, but yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is like instead of dumping all that into an Exsanguinate, I want to dump that into Yawgmoth or Gix several times.
But you do realize that you have to discard cards to make Gix work.
Yes, I get it.
So
Yes,
so
right.
so if you discard your hand, activate Gix once, and still have 21 mana left over, unless someone's library is going to help you draw cards, you can't do it again.
Again, right, which we'll get into. So this is where it's gonna get really stupid near at the end of it. So put a pin in that grenade, and then I'm gonna see
Okay,
you. I'm gonna see you take it out and mail to me when we get to our spice.
fair enough. All right. Well, my last one, it's a mono black standard. It's super boring normally, but I think in this deck you have to have a Necropotence. I
Oh,
just
mm,
I literally don't
sure.
understand how you couldn't. Oh my gosh, that Secret Lair 30th anniversary countdown version is totally metal, man.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Necropotence
that's a
is
rectangle.
Necropotence, black, black, black. It's an enchantment. Skip your draw step. Whenever you discard a card, exile it from your graveyard. Pay a life. Exile the top card of your library, face down. Put that card into your hand at the beginning of your next end step. So through the Thought Vessels, Decanters, the Reliquary Towers of the World, we could
Yeah.
pay 25 life if we wanted to. Draw 25 or exile 25 cards, and then those 25 cards go straight into our hand at the end step.
Yep.
And then boom, there we go. We can activate Gix because Gix doesn't even state sorcery speed
Yeah. Right.
for the other effect. Oh my
It's
gosh.
dumb.
Yeah. Now, granted, the cast spells they would have to be, if you did it on other people's turns, you would have to have a way to be able to do it instant speed, like a good old Valdek
The
Ori.
Ori.
But yeah, no, I think Necropotence is a must have in this deck.
I agree, and I've been going through and tearing down decks, so I have a spare one of these locked and ready to go. So it's going to
There
be
you go.
coming to it. Uh, it's been a while since we've done a little hashtag suck it Jimmy action, and I was watching YouTube yesterday, and game nights came on like without my choice. I got like 2 minutes in, I was like, wait a minute, what? And like ran and shut it down. It's like I refuse to give them my likes,
Just
shares, or
absolute panic.
subscribes.
Tuck just
It
chucks
was. I
a
was like,
cup at the TV, breaks it.
I just destroy. Yeah, but I love Necropotence in here. Like I agree with how much stuff we're gonna be having. Drawing 8. This is definitely a suicide or like a kamikaze style deck, right? Where it's
Hmm.
my life choice. As long as I have one, it don't matter, right?
Yeah.
I'll make it up some other how. Well, I love it.
Well, and black has ways to gain life.
Oh,
So
sure.
if we end up leaning too hard into the paying life to draw cards aspect, then
Mhm.
maybe 5 or 6 ways to gain life in some way, shape, or form is worth putting in.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, all good. So, what is your last green card?
Okay, so this is another reason why I like this deck because I think I also have this card in a lot of them, right? But we need ways early in the game to quickly draw cards, turn over turn, and something that's resilient, right? And I feel like this is the exact same way I've described this in Ognis, in the Sequor deck that you gave me instead of Prosh. It's our boy Nether Trader. Gotta have him.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta have him. Double black, creature spirit, haste, shadow. Can be blocked by only creatures with shadow. Whenever another creature is put in your graveyard from the battlefield, any creature, you may pay black and bump them back to the battlefield. It's incredible. So much value. It's a circus of value in one card. You get him down. He's already attacking that turn, putting someone on tilt. Then you get Gix down the next turn. He's drawing you a card right there. If they board wipe, you'll be able to bring him back. It's just, I love it. I love this card so much.
It's fine. So,
This
I,
this
the
this
thing
might
I
be
don't
my like your murder.
I guess. So the biggest issue I have with it is that Nether Trader needs another creature to be
Yeah,
put into the
right.
graveyard from the battlefield. If it was just whatever a creature is put into your graveyard from anywhere, then sure. Then it's like you're discarding, then you could bring it
Or
back and be
counterspell.
able,
Yeah,
yeah, like you could do some different things. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
I love this card so much. It's I don't know. I don't know if it's because I looked at it for so long because I wanted it in Eureka and it was like $20, and then when it got reprinted, it plummeted. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be
All right.
anything. Who knows?
Well, that's going to wrap up the grain section. Now we're going to head over to the hot profile. But before we do, we'd love for you to check out, we mentioned it earlier, our Etsy store. So if you just go to Etsy.com, type in CMD Tower in the search bar, you'll find our great store. And that's where you can just go buy a lot of our different swag. We do still have our Jun sweaters out there. We've sold a decent amount actually in December.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably Christmas gifts or holiday gifts, things like that. But hey, it's still freezing cold in the world. So if you guys need a sweater, you should definitely go out and buy one. But we do have like our foil playmats on there. We do have, just a whole bunch of stuff. Once again, everything you guys do financially just goes back into helping keep this channel alive. Since effectively we kind of funded ourselves, and without your support, we just wouldn't be around. So
Yeah.
anything you guys could do would be greatly appreciated. Etsy.com, CMD Tower in that search bar. Now we're going to head over to the
Nailed
hops, and I'll kick this off with Tuck. You said you wanted to draw cards, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I have a decree for you, and it's of pain. Decree of
Oh,
pain.
yeah.
6 colorless black sorcery. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. Draw a
The
card
big
for
one.
each creature destroyed this way. Now,
Woo.
there is a cycling effect, which, might be worthwhile. Cycling 3 colorless black. When you cycle Decree of Pain, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. So you still get to draw a card because you are cycling.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like the cycling effect's more like, wow, Elf Ball's getting out of control.
Yeah.
Drakes are
Can't
getting
keep
out of
up.
control. Yeah, goblins, things like that. And I just need to reset all of y'all. But I think
Yeah.
the bigger thing is you're holding out for that 8 because we're already doing big black mana stuff, or BBM,
Yeah.
as I will shorthand it. So, being able to like, okay, well, I could do 2 commander activations. Well, what if I activate Decree of Pain, draw 30 cards, recast my commander, and then whatever mana left over, hopefully I have 7. Then it's like, oh yeah, I drew 30. How about I discard 30? And you give me 30 cards off of your library, and
It's
I'm
almost
playing everything.
it's almost like a like a finisher almost, right? Like, I mean, it's definitely a hop, but like there's a way that if you cast this for its actual mana cost, you should be like en route to winning the game. Or at least like,
I
you don't
don't
think
agree with
so?
that. No. Be, I hate now. We've gotten so accustomed to like, well, if you're paying 8 or 9 for a spell, you should be winning the
Yeah.
game. And I hate when people are just, it's kind of the whole the boogeyman, that 7 drop, you pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. Like my whole argument against
Oh,
that.
Grizzlebrand.
Yeah, Grizzlebrand. It's like just drawing cards does not win you the game. Like that
Sure.
action on its own does not win you the game. You need other pieces to do it. Maybe it is something that's whenever you draw a card, you deal some damage, or whenever you draw a
Yeah.
card, people lose life. Okay, sure, but it's not drawing cards winning you the game. So that's where I would
Yeah.
disagree with it,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
could do this and then miscount because it'll kill your commander, and then you're
Right.
like,
Right.
well,
Right.
shit, I'm actually 3 mana shy, so I just
Of
drew
doing
30
anything.
cards
Yeah.
and didn't do anything. So that would be my stance. But I know with this deck, we're playing it smart. We're gonna make sure we have the mana ready, because I do see this as kind of like your expropriate. Like, okay,
Yes.
I'm actually gonna be able to do something with this. I'm not just doing it to do it.
Right. 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 Okay. Yeah. I can buy. I can believe it. I can believe it. I like that card. I have a spare one. Let's go into the list.
There you go. All right. Well, what is your first hoppy card?
All right. With this card, we're gonna be able to unlock my hidden theme
Okay.
because we got the Prankle, the Dankle,
Putting
and
in the
also
rankle.
the Rankle, baby. Let's go. Anji Falkenroth, see you later. That deck is joining the bin. I'm going all in on kicks, baby. This is like the card of the deck. It's amazing. So Rankle, Master of Pranks, 2 colorless double black for legendary creature Fairy Rogue from the set that should not be named. It's also mythic. 3/3. Flying Haste. Boom. No more, nothing else. If it was a blank card after that, I'd probably still be excited. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses a life and draws a card. And each player sacrifices a creature. All of which is not going to cost us a damn thing. We're only going to lose a life and draw a card when it deals damage anyways. So we might as well get 2. It's like Nekuzar in yourself. Comes out the turn after on Gix comes down. It's just got it all. It's got it all, baby. I love it. I hate this
I
set, but
hate
I love
this
this card.
card. God, it ruined me in standard so many times. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I saw this when I was kind of searching
Yeah.
for inspiration. I didn't put it on my list mainly because I was like, I don't know if 4 and effectively getting to draw 2 cards, lose 2 life is good enough
Good
in my
enough.
opinion,
Yeah.
for me personally. But I know that you're hot for that kind of stuff. And
Oh
who
yeah.
knows? Maybe the each player sacrifices a creature will be something that's relevant if you have enough tokens. It's like, hey, I'm good losing a 2/2 zombie
Yeah.
because I know that they're going to lose a blocker, and then I'm going to be able to
Mhm.
get in. So there could be something there.
Sure.
Oh God!
Yes.
All right,
What happened?
B.
What's going on?
Oh, I accidentally, just being
Kill.
a fool, throwing my big fat forearm down on the enter key. Uh,
Oh,
so
good.
yeah. So the next card I wanted to talk about is Dread Presence. Um, I think this card is
Oh,
sneaky amazing for this deck.
yes.
And
Yes,
I
yes,
would say
yes.
this is probably a mono black staple. I don't know why you
Yeah,
wouldn't put it in every
I
mono
don't
black
either.
deck.
Yeah,
So
it's
Dread
we've
Presence,
talked about this before. It's incredible.
3 colorless black. You can get it for $1.60 via Jumpstart 2022. It's a creature nightmare. It's a 3/3, and it's rare. Whenever a swamp enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Draw a card and lose a life, or Dread Presence deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. So, once again, playing the game rewards us.
Yeah,
So, we're going to be playing a land every turn, or we should be playing a land every turn. So, we're getting that additional card draw. Yeah, we got to lose life. But I also, the reason for me it's a hop is because sometimes you might need to ping targets.
yeah,
You want to get in for the damage, or maybe someone you have rankle out and someone has 2 creatures. And it's like, well, shit, if I do the sacrifice creature, they're still going to have a blocker. It's like, okay, well,
right,
let
right,
me
right, right.
bolt whatever it is, and then rankle and make them sacrifice the other one, and then I'm all good to go in free and clear. So I think this is going to give us a lot of modality through the game, and neither one of these effects will ever feel bad.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think in this one I'll probably run like 20 plus basic swamps, right?
Hmm.
And once we get Urborg, which I'm going to tutor for early anyway,
Yep.
or draw out, then every land is a swamp. So, and the thing I
Hmm.
like the most about it too is like it's still a 3/3, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not quite on curve, but this is still a creature that is going to be able to attack with a swarm of other ones and maybe draw you another card if you want it. But
Yeah.
you may not even want to do that, right? You may just want to be like, this is just an enchantment. That's all it is.
Hmm. Very fair.
But I'm big
All
on
right.
it.
Well, what is your second hop card?
All right, we got to do it. We got to do it.
Are you doing
My
stuffy
first.
doll?
No, no, no.
No,
What?
no, no.
I'm not. No, 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 no. I only do that for your decks.
Oh, thank you.
It's the OG. It's one of my favorite cards ever printed. My old favorite play was turn one, Dark Ritual, because you can pack 4 of them. Turn two, Hypnotic Spectre. I mean, let's go here. I don't even a colorless double black for a flying 2/2. When it deals damage to an opponent, that player discards a card at random. You're getting your flyer in, you're getting something else out of it, and you are playing into the sneaky theme of a little bit of discarding. A little bit of discard. Not
Oh,
crazy
good.
amounts, but just a little bit.
I'm sure your play group's gonna love that.
Yeah. Hey, they can always attack and draw more. Whose fault is that? So for like again, this is kind of a spice, but it's a nostalgia piece. But this is a deck where it is going to work towards the ultimate goal. Is it efficient? Probably not, but you gotta play the cards that you want to, right?
Well, and then you could always go get that Magic Player Rewards 2006 version, which brings back the 4th edition art. Kind of badass looking, and
Ooh.
it's only
Oh,
$8.
that is hot.
That's super hot. So, but
Oh,
I will say,
one note's even hotter though. The one right above it that's in gold bordered.
so anyways, the way I feel about this card, I don't like it for the deck.
Okay.
So, just being honest,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
fine.
a fan of it, mainly because I'm assuming you want to build this commander because you want to also politic the table and get people to hit each other, right?
That's not that. So for me, that's like the nice to have,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like the political for me is the nice to have. I just like this because I can draw cards when I attack. Which so it's my favorite thing, getting my second favorite thing.
Yeah, it's just
But
like usually your whole thing is like, let me get a taste, and nobody's gonna
oh
let you
yeah,
get a taste with this.
maybe not. But I'm saying with cards like this, they're not gonna have a choice. I'm getting that taste. It's like I don't know. Insert some reference to the lacrosse team. I'm getting that taste. I'm getting that taste no matter if they like it or not.
Jesus. All right. Well, I got another card from the set that shall not be named. I thought you would find now. This might be a spice card, but I feel like you're getting to because for you, you want to draw cards. So it's
Yes.
either you're attacking and getting the draw effect off of your commander, or your opponents will make a choice and you'll draw a card off that choice. So I think Clackbridge Troll is actually kind of good for the
Ooh.
deck.
Oh. Oh yeah.
So Clackbridge, three colorless black black, you can get a copy for 55. Wow. Oh,
Oh.
okay. You can get the promo version for 55 cents. God,
Oh
this
really?
card is tank. So it's a creature troll, trample haste. It's an 8/8, which is the important part.
oh
When it
yeah.
ETBs, target opponent creates 3/0/1 white goat creature tokens. At the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If the player does, tap Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life, and you draw a card. So for me, because it has the trample and the haste, it's like, sure, sacrifice a goat. I'm still getting to draw a card. And you know what, Tuck? This is almost better because now that gained 3 life, you didn't have to pay a
Right.
life to actually draw the card. So
Right. Right.
I
Right.
don't I don't think this guy's ever going to attack because I think your opponents are always
It's
going to
people
be
just gonna keep them.
sacrificing, but I don't think you truly care because if you're gaining 3 life and drawing a card off of this every single rotation, and think about
Right.
it, why would anyone ever use targeted removal for it?
Well, and
So,
it's like a
yeah,
it's and to your point, it's effectively like a 3-for-1, right?
hmm,
Because you're someone sacrificing a creature. So if you're playing things like Blood Artist or something like that,
sure.
that's a win, right? Black loves that. You're gaining life and you're drawing a card, right? So
And you didn't even to further add to that, that creature they sacrifice is one less blocker for all the other
ex-
creatures that you're going in with.
exactly for the swarm that comes with it. So I think this is great. And the trample and haste, it's like my two favorite words stacked on each other. And I mean the price, they're really twisting your arm on that. But I think this is cool. I think this is a great find.
So the only thing I would encourage you though, because this is where the card doesn't work well in multiplayer, I think you're gonna have to be very strict about the collusion type stuff.
Yeah,
Like
right.
like you can't have it to where the next the next person with priority is like, well, I don't really know, and then they discuss it, and then they're like, well, I don't really want to do it. Well, I don't really want to do it. Well, I don't really want to do it, and it's like, okay, fine, I guess I'll do it, and then they
Yeah.
sacrifice it. It's like, okay, priority goes to you. Do you want to sacrifice a creature and tap it,
Yeah,
or do
right.
you want to go to the next person? Because I think that's where the card becomes difficult. Is you
Mhm.
just can't because it's all verbal and we're all just talking. If we were just playing
Yeah.
online, I think it'd be a completely different world, like MTGO style. So
Yeah,
that
right,
would
right,
be
right.
my only recommendation. Is
Sure.
when you play it, it's like okay, priority goes to you. Would you like to sacrifice it? No. Okay, now priority goes to you. Would you?
Right.
Priority goes to you. Okay, no one did it. I'm going to attack. There's no takesy backsies. Well, I thought they would. None of that.
Yep. Yeah. No, I like that too. I think that's good. And I think in my play group here with this deck, I don't know. I can't tell if they're just gonna come and gang up on me or if they're gonna like abuse it, right? So I think it just
Hmm.
depends on who we're playing and when. So I think it's gonna have to be strict on that.
Hmm.
Also just gonna let it run away.
All right. Well, what is your final hop?
So my last one, and again, I think that I want to get the most value out of everything. So I am putting in a little small amount of a discard benefits theme for me, right? Like whenever you're discarding cards and that sort of thing. So one of those cards that does this efficiently and is like a kind of a sort of form of graveyard help is one called Tortured Existence. So it's or you know how to spell that. It's a one black enchantment for about $3, and it's black. Discard a creature card. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So the thing I like about this is if we want to get those big, heavier creatures that are on the final end of it, like a Rankle, the Clackbridge Troll, those sort of things, and they get killed easily, we're gonna be drawing enough cards. We're gonna have a choice to be able to be like, okay, do I want to play these quick one drops out of my hand
Hmm.
and draw a card, or do I want to play with these bigger, more impactful creatures, swapping them out? So doing that for a black is I kind of like that better than like a Phyrexian Reclamation, for example, because I'm gonna be discarding cards anyways. So I thought it was kind of a cute pick to keep cards from your graveyard back to your hand.
No, I really like that.
Really? Oh, nice.
Eh,
I couldn't see it in your face.
yeah, because you gave me inspiration to like look up something. Um,
Oh, that's sweet, sweet inspiration.
yeah, we'll maybe hit on it at the end of the episode as like a surprise pick. But no, so the card itself, I think it's good,
Right.
but I think you have to run, and maybe this is spoiling stuff, a certain Black Knight from a certain set that shall not be named. I think that's the only reason you run Tortured Existence.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be good too.
Yeah, because I mean
I'm
that would
talking.
be kind of like a finisher. It's like, okay, I discarded 15 cards, 10 of them were creatures. Y'all are taking
Oh,
10 life each,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
maybe use Tortured Existence to be able to loop that a little bit.
Hmm.
That's where I could see some potential value with Tortured Existence. But if you're not doing that, I don't know. This almost just seems more of like a, well, I discarded my 8 drop on turn 5 and I'd
Sure.
like to get it back a little bit later. But I also think that if you don't have some way to constantly get back your graveyard, then you're
Hmm.
also still missing the boat because you can only activate because you only have so many cards you can discard
Yeah, right.
and draw because your deck has 99 cards in it and you're
Right,
going
right,
up
right.
against it's almost kind of like the mill thought tuck
You're
where
like,
it's
but
like,
you're going up
well,
against yourself.
yeah, no, more of you don't have to mill 100 cards. You have to mill 300 cards because you got 3
Ah,
opponents. It's like if you're
right,
trying
right,
to really win off of the 7 activated ability, it's like, well, I kind of need to be able to do it at least 200 times or 200
yeah, right,
cards
right, right,
worth,
right.
and I
To
only
win
have
it out. Yeah.
99 that I can do it with. So that's where I think this for me would be probably more of a spice, depending
Okay,
on
sure.
how the rest of the deck kind of fills out. All right. Well, we are going to head out of the hop section and head over to abyssproxyshop.com, our
Yeah.
fantastic playtest partner. If you guys use code CMD Tower, it'll actually get you 10% off your order. Big Tuck, it's the weekly check in. How big's your cart?
Keep talking. I'll have that for you in just a second.
All right. Well, it's something that I've done quite a bit. They actually have a custom catalog, and I've built out a full 100 card Najila deck with matching tokens using like various woodblock Japanese arts from hundreds of years ago that I found
That
online.
looks really good.
Or I've built like a Game of Thrones deck. I mean, they're super flexible. They will work with you. The 10% discount works on full deck, single cards. The prices are between like 3 and
Hmm.
$5, maybe 6 if you do a foil. Very, very affordable. They ship very quick, and the quality is freaking awesome. So if you guys are looking for some playtest cards,
Yeah.
abyssproxyshop.com, using code CMD Tower is the best way to do it.
I'm at $200 even.
All
The
right,
bonus is supposed to be coming in May, man. Come on.
now we're gonna head over to the yeast section and Tuck. I got some heaters, but I'm
You got some
curious
heaters?
what your beaters are.
So I have two that are kind of grouped in the same thing. So each one of mine is playing into my three perceived strategies of Gix, right? Which
Okay,
is drawing cards, discarding cards, and having a creature land base, or having a heavy creature base as well. So the first one I want to talk about is the biggest payoff for when you discard a card, in my
okay,
opinion, or has the potential to be, which is a card called Bone Miser. 4 colorless and a black for a creature zombie wizard. It's a 4/4. Whenever you discard a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, add double black. And then whenever you discard a non creature, non land card, draw a card. So with this, the last thing, you can kind of refill your hand again to potentially do another Gix if you're at that point.
okay.
But if this kind of for me makes it easier where it's like if it's only 7, like you were talking about, you're kind of like, that's sort of poo poo. But I'm gonna have this whole sling of value off of it and then maybe be able to do it again off of that. That to me is why I like this. I like getting that benefit from the discard.
I love this card. Um, it's weird because I wouldn't think this is a yeast, but I think when you're discarding 10 and you're getting however many freaking triggers off of this
Right.
thing, that it's so powerful. Do you think you would ever swing with it though?
Oh, probably not. I don't
Yeah.
think I think it'd be too weird. I mean, that's nice, right? But like
Yeah.
this was an enchantment. It is an enchantment. It's called Waste Not. But anyways, uh the other one I
Well,
want to add to
that's
that
for
is like
opponents though, not for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why that if it was for you, then this would probably be
Oh my
even
god.
more expensive as an enchantment, it'd be a blowout. So,
Yeah.
anyways, the other one that I really like, which will help us kind of gain some incidental life as we're doing the Yawgmoth triggers, is Faith of the Devoted, which is 2 colorless and a black. For whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So I think this is kind of a good answer to, like, we know we have a pile of mana left over.
Hmm.
Once we activate this for 7, we might not have enough cards. So kind of a good way to ding down our opponents, and this might be able to like crush out the game if we do have that like magic 30 black magic mana pool. Ugh.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I think that there's actually a cycle of these cards where it's like whenever you cycle or discard,
Mm-hmm.
do this, and if you do, this happens. Um, and I think it's good because it doesn't say whenever you cycle or discard one or more cards, so it will count
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
number. So yeah, I think that's a really good fit as well.
Nice. All right. What do you got for me? Let's see.
All
Let's see
right,
these spicy meatballs.
so we're going Big Daddy because you're going to be dealing damage.
Okay.
We want to draw cards. So how about Villas, Broker of Blood,
Oh God.
just being disgusting?
Is this gonna kill us though?
Well, think about it though. You're paying life whenever you activate your commander's ability when you deal combat damage. So 5 colorless, black, black, black,
Oh yeah.
legendary creature, demon, flying. It's an 8/8. Pay a black, pay 2 life. Target creature gets neg 1 until end of turn. But whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. So you're effectively getting double card draw
Yeah.
every single time you guys deal damage to an opponent via your commander. But then also think of necropotence. Now I only have to do
Oh
half as
God.
much life.
Oh my God. Do, do we need to run like a platinum angel in here? I feel like we're. I
Maybe.
feel. I feel like we are building this deck only in ways that the biggest worry is not what our opponent's doing. It's that, are we gonna mill ourselves or kill ourselves off of activated abilities? But I love it. And I can't wait to deck myself like I did with Lannis in in Vegas.
Yeah, I
Slam
think
dunk.
yeah, I think it's slam dunk and it's a flyer. So,
Yeah.
you're getting big 8 damage in. And hopefully, at a certain point in the game when you're actually able to get this down, maybe your opponents have used a lot of their spot removal.
Yeah.
Maybe they've used it on your commander over and over because they see kind of the bullshit you're doing. So, who knows? But yeah, Villas baby, big black
Yeah. That's a
daddy.
big one. Imagine like having the nut draw and getting him down on like turn 4.
Oh my god.
Like
I think
what
that's where
happened?
everyone just scoops.
Yeah, they're like we can't get past this. All right.
And we're done.
Yeah. Moving right
All right.
along.
Well, you have one more left.
No, those were like a joint one. I didn't know the joint
They're
one on
not the
this.
same. Oh my gosh.
They're both
Tuck over here just
discards.
making up his own rules as if this is his
They're both
podcast or something.
discards. You said that in the theory craft we can link things together if they work together. When you're discarding cards, those are the 2 things you want. And one can wash the other's hand. The mana generated by the Bone Miser you can use to pay for the Faith of the Devoted.
What is your
Nailed
next
it.
pick?
All right. So we're talking drawing cards, right? So if I'm drawing, I want everyone to be drawing cards, right? But if I'm going to be drawing these cards, well, you guys got to pay for it too. That's only fair, right? I'm giving you the option. It's just a little vague, right?
Yeah.
Some people have called me a lot crawler. Some people have also called me a psychosis because we're talking about psychosis crawler, baby. Let's go. 5 colorless for an artifact creature, Phyrexian horror. So there you go. Probably knows our buddy Gix quite
Or
well. Whore, son of a whore. Power psychosis crawlers, power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses a life. So now we're back. Now we're in business, right? I'm drawing. I'm losing life. You guys are losing life. We're all having a great time. We're all just keeping it nice and even here. And then this thing has the goal to be like humongous if with our reliquary tower effects and whatnot as well.
and you can pay $21 for the Wizards Play Network 2022 version. I didn't know this
Yeah,
existed. It's all in Phyrexian.
that's a Phyrexian. Woof.
That's sick.
That is
So
pretty.
yeah, I
That's
think
pretty
this is
sick.
good. Now
Yeah.
I don't know why this is a yeast card for the deck because your commander's activated ability doesn't draw cards.
No, but my
So
creatures when
this
they
is
hit
this
the
is going to be more drips and drabs in my opinion versus I'm drawing 15 because even Necropotence doesn't draw you cards. You exile
right.
them and then put them into your hand.
This is for the creature attacking, which I'm going to be doing the entire game.
Well, yeah, I
So
know,
that's
but that's why it's more of a drips and drabs versus
sure. But if it's 5 damage a turn, how is that any different than 10 or 15 cards milled by Altar of the Brood? That's a use card all the time.
Well, yeah, when you're playing like 10 permanents and you're milling 30 cards a rotation, that's a
So
lot.
if I draw 5 cards, then I'm getting 15 life back. Or I'm downing them by I feel like I
Okay.
feel in this build. We'll see what happens. We'll see
Yeah,
what
we'll
happens.
see. We'll see.
Maybe I won't even get to cast my commander because I just get shotgun in the face on like turn 3. Could
In
happen.
real life. Oh, that got dark.
Please. Ugh.
All
You're
right.
not wrong.
Some say an apocalypse is sometimes necessary. And what better than Sheoldred to
Oh god, yeah.
rein this in? Sheoldred the Apocalypse. 2 colorless black legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor, with some badass variant art styles that you can get.
Oh yeah.
Um, it has Death Touch. It's a 4/5. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. So now your commander's ability is actually just gain a life whenever
Yep.
you deal damage and still get your card. But now your opponents, it's like, hey, you can do it, but it's going to cost you 3 life now.
It's gonna cost you 3 a pop. Yeah. I think it's sweet. I just wish this card didn't cost $60.
Oh my
And
god.
I'm not sure when it's not going to cost $60 because I think this is played like every format. So it's sweet. I like the fact that this plays into the opponent's drawing, especially, right? Like it's gonna hurt them just for playing the game. So if this gets down to 40, I'll pick one up because there's like 6. I mean, I need this in like 4 of my decks, but I just can't
Mhm.
pay 50 right now for this.
Yeah, that
Gotta
would be
gotta
a
ice it out.
real that'd be a really tough pill to swallow, paying
Yeah.
50. And I mean, you know me, I like the variant. Actually the I could get the Phyrexian one for 60. Um God, man, this thing's so expensive.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
It's upsetting.
All right. Well, what is your final yeast card? It could be 1 card, it could be 39 cards apparently.
Well, I didn't put it in, but I'll leave it to you. But there's 2 legendary creatures that are both mono black from the set that shall not be named that I think are both pretty solid in here. So I'm going to talk about the one I actually chose. I didn't even think about the one that you made mention of, which is also great. But I'm going one that's going to get the benefit on the creatures entering the battlefield, thinking I'm going to be playing some token enablers, and a lot of like low cost creatures. And that one is a Yara Fist of Lochwain. So triple black. You probably have seen this deck most famously as the helm of Ross's or Marketing Ross's bullshit rat colony deck. So Arya Fist of Lochwain, triple black. So you could get the nut draw with Dark Ritual and get her turn 1. Legendary creature Elf Noble. Whenever she or another black creature enters the battlefield in your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I hear you. I agree with you on this one, especially with the drips and drabs. But I love the fact that I'm gaining life back, which is what we need. And then tap, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. So I like this because we're gonna get the benefits on the creatures leaving with this card. We're gonna get them the benefits on them leaving with other cards or entering and leaving. And in a pinch, if we just need to get the next thing going, we can always sacrifice one of our like 1/1 flyers that we don't need anymore just to refill a card in hand and cycle it out.
Sorry, this whole time I thought you said Fist of Lochthwain, so I'm over here searching Fist and I
Oh
can't
shit.
find it. First, so yeah, I got it pulled up
For
for
okay.
all of our video audience. So I don't know. It's I just
Are you talking about the other one?
no.
Okay. So I didn't think about I always forget all the shit on Sir Conrad. So I think to your point, if this is probably more of like a not a yeast, and Sir Conrad would be the yeast, right?
Yeah.
So like I think if I had thought it through, I would have put him in mostly for the memes, more so
Mhm.
than I would have put her in. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I think that the biggest challenge I have with Arya is I don't know how often we're having creatures enter the battlefield. Like,
Sure.
are we truly doing 5 to 10 tokens a turn? And they're all black. None of them are
Right.
mirrors or colorless. None of that. Um, so I don't know. For me, I think this would be a spice because at least it does draw a card, and you might get
Yeah.
incremental value through the game. But I do agree that the Sir Conrad the Grim, 3 colorless, black, human knight, legend. 5/4. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves the
So
graveyard,
stupid.
it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So I think this is going to be like, oh, I play Sir Conrad, I activate my commander, I'm immediately draining everyone for 10, and
Yeah,
then
right,
getting
right,
all
right,
the
right.
benefits. Versus, I don't see Arya ever having like a blow up turn. It for me,
Yeah,
Arya
what
kind of fits actually the Psychosis Crawler thing, where I think it's gonna be more drips
sure.
and drabs.
But she's also, and also I didn't say this when I was looking this up and doing my notes. She's like $5,
Yeah,
which is
ridiculous.
kind of insane. But guess what? I have a copy of it for some deck that I built 10 years ago. So there you go.
Well,
All
we
right,
might need to get your
what's your
memory
last
checked
one?
because definitely Arya was only printed 4 years ago,
Well,
2019.
I listen, time's a flat circle, right? What is time?
What
I
is
don't believe
time?
I don't believe in it as a concept.
Well, I have a god fetish, so there's no way I was going to build a deck without a god. And God Eternal Bantu, I
Ooh.
think, is super hot for this deck. So, 3 colorless black black legendary creature zombie god menace. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of permanents, then draw that many cards. Might be late
Oof.
game.
Yeah.
You're down to one person. Maybe they have infinite life. Who knows?
Oh,
Maybe you
sure.
can't attack them. Who knows? But maybe they only have like 15 cards left. You could
Yeah.
literally float your mana, sacrifice all your lands, everything, draw all those cards, activate your commander. Boom, you've won the game because you've decked them.
Oh, because
And
you
it's a
decked
five.
them.
Yeah, and it's a 5/6.
Yeah.
And when it dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you just put it third from the top of your library, which with all the cards that we're going to be hopefully
Yeah,
drawing,
we'll get it right
you'll just
back.
get it back. And it has menace. I
Yeah.
didn't even mention that, so it can get in for that damage. So
Yeah, I
I,
think
I
it's I
think I
like
think
it. I like it a
this,
lot.
yeah, this is a slam dunk. Drop it, sack a whole bunch of crap, and just go to town.
Yeah, and just figure it out. Float a bunch of mana and just yeah,
Hmm.
and try to get there. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. This is gonna be something where it's a good like mid to late game. I have all the cards I need. I don't need to attack anymore with my creatures, right? So I get
Yep.
in for one big swing and be like, all right, I'm gonna draw 10 and just see if I can dig myself out of this, right? So it's efficient there. It's pretty relatively cheap. So it's like cheap enough for me to take a flyer on, right?
Yeah,
At $3.
$4, three
So
fifty. Yeah.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's sweet. It's sweet.
Or you could splurge for $30 to get the Comic Con version.
I'm
We
not
could be
doing
we
that.
could
You
be we
can't
could be
read those
bros.
Comic Con ones. Those ones are horror. All of them are bad. I don't
No,
like any
these
of
are
them.
easy to read.
These ones are easy, but still, I don't like that design. I don't know. I don't love it. Not for 3 times or 10 times the price. Now, if it was a gold bordered,
Oh, fuck
then
off. All right, now we're gonna leave the yeast package, and now we're gonna head over to the spice. And I have 2 spice cards to talk
okay.
about.
You go
The
first then.
the first one for me was the flyer that I talked about. I was like, why didn't I put this in the list? Bag of holding. Holy hell. I don't know why I
Oh
forgot
god,
about this
yeah.
card. Uh,
Holy,
si-
holy
Single
hell.
colorless artifact. Whenever you discard a
Oh
card,
god.
exile that card from your graveyard. So it still gets discarded. So your commander still gets its effect, and then you could just pay
Yeah.
2 mana, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. But the bigger thing is, remember how I've been talking about like Tuck, you're eventually going to run out of cards.
Right, right, right.
Um, 4 colorless tap, sack, bag of holding, return all cards exiled with it to their owner's hand.
Yeah, that's odd.
So yeah, over maybe there's 40 cards in there. Yeah, I'll pay 40 back to hand, activate my commander. Let's exile 40.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this card's hot.
Yeah, this is great. I love this. There's one I was trying to like I was thinking like there's got to be cards with it you nullify the thing. And there's one called Library of Leng. I don't know if you remember this
Yep.
card. So, but the problem is it's been errated to when an effect makes you discard, not a
Hmm.
cost. So I was like, okay, that's out. But this is the answer to my prayers, right? Like
But here's the thing, though. The reason it's a spice and not a grain, and I didn't retro do it. Um,
some you have
it
40 cards under here and someone just blows it up.
Yep, and then they're just gone forever.
And
So
see you later.
that would suck.
I love it. I think it's a heater. I definitely am gonna this is on the list for sure.
Sweet, and I mean you can
Especially
get a
because it's
copy for literally 6 pennies. So who cares?
yeah, right.
All right. Well, what's your spice card that
All right.
apparently is going to tell us all of the secret tech of this deck and make everything make sense?
No, you're just gonna get really angry. But it's gonna like it works in a vacuum. So there's an enchantment that is a time shift, color shift of my card that has the worst art on it of all time.
Okay.
So you talk about running out of cards, right? And not being able to discard more. But what if I told you that that doesn't have to be a problem anymore for a pretty hefty fine? So the card we're talking about first is the real card is called Null Profusion. So it's 4 colorless, double black for an enchantment from Planar Chaos. Skip your draw step. Take that draw step, just throw it right away, right? But whenever you play a card, draw a card, and then your maximum hand size is 2. So we're talking about having those big, like you have 15 mana in your pool, right? You have 20 mana in your pool, however much you need, right?
Okay.
So, and you have 10 cards in hand. So you're like, adios, no worries, right? When you play those cards for free off your opponents, you get to draw cards from them. So then you refill your hand and just rinse and repeat until you like whiff on it. This is the answer to our prayers.
Not really, because like as soon as you have no mana, you're discarding all of the cards from your hand.
So, but you just, but you gotta do before the last one. You just gotta dump them and just pray for the best. It's listen. This is a maniac card. This is a this is a psychopath's card. I was like laughing about it even this morning, being like, he's gonna not like this at all.
I
But
do
I
not
think
like this at all.
it's just like bizarre and insane enough to maybe work. I think.
I mean, it's a perfect spice card. I
Yeah.
have no
See, this
issues
is the
with it as a spice. If you
this
would
is
have
the
tried to sell
fashion.
me on this being a yeast, I would have
Oh,
punched you virtually.
oh, I can't. It's listen. It's not possible. It's horrible. The one, if you can throw it up real quick, the artwork that is on here that is my least favorite all time is from Recycle, or like just like bicycle but I guess. And I hate that artwork. It is my
Oh,
least favorite artwork of all time. It drives me insane, especially on a
yeah.
$5 reserved list card.
Hey, but you
Makes
know
me
what? I bet you Phil Fugilio is real proud of it.
well. Maybe he shouldn't be.
All right. Well, my last one is a box, but it doesn't have Gwyneth's head in it. Instead, it has
Oh,
a puzzle.
Sam.
We're talking to Fairy's Puzzle Box.
Oh, okay.
So I thought this is a perfect spice card for the following. And yes, like I do for our video watchers, I'll put up the cool arts from Secret Lair. So, 4 colorless artifact. Beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts cards in hand on the bottom of their library in any order, then draws that many cards. So, it just effectively shuffles it. It makes it harder for our opponents to play and blah, blah, blah. The reason I think it's smart for this deck is because we're going to have effects like the Shieldred the Apocalypse,
Yeah,
where it's going to be, hey,
right,
maybe I don't want to feed into Tuck's thing with the opponent paying the life, drawing a card. Maybe I'll just say, scratch that. Don't want to do it.
right,
Well, you're gonna still take damage. Like it's gonna be through hook or
right.
by crook. It's gonna happen,
I will make you take this
and it's
damage.
nice because with the Fairy's Puzzle Box, you're getting your Psychosis Crawler triggers. You are getting the gain life aspect from Shieldred. So maybe we have been paying
Yeah,
a little bit too much life. Now I'm gaining 6 or 14, or if we have 30 cards in hand, maybe I'm gaining
yeah, sure.
60. It's going to be very versatile, but it also just may not do anything because you might end up building a deck that doesn't have a lot of these retroactive effects of whenever you
Right,
draw cards, whenever your opponents draw cards. So that's why it's a spice for me, because once you get to your final build, I think this is the 100th to 101 card,
yeah.
and you need at least 5 or 6 cards that could get payoffs from Teferi Puzzle Box. And
I
if you don't have them, you keep it to the side to where
yeah.
maybe eventually, like you said, Shielder drops in price. You finally get that, decide to put a few additional cards to feed into it, and then maybe it does make sense.
Or we know, or we start like I play it. I because I'm gonna I'm like pretty set on replacing this into my mono black deck and trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this work, right? Like I'm gonna play this a
Hmm.
few times. I'm gonna sub it in. So I feel like, to your point, if I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, me and Mr. Combo were way wrong. People
Yeah.
are getting extraordinarily greedy with this drawing, right? And like that hasn't been an issue yet. Then you're like, okay, let's put in the puzzle box. Let's put in Underworld Dreams, deal some
Yep.
damage there, right? And
Hmm.
then if it's like, but to your point, if they're like, oh, none of them are attacking. I'm just the arch enemy. Then you're like, okay, how do we defend against that, right?
You you
So
you just gave me an idea. You might be able to turn this into a toolbox deck where you have your same 90 and then literally
right,
10 cards. It's like, hey, people are getting greedy and drawing a lot, so these 10 cards make more sense. And then,
right,
oh, nobody's doing it, and I'm the arch enemy. Now I take out these 10 and put in these 10.
right.
So maybe that's actually the way, and that maybe helps you keep the deck fresh.
Right, right, right. Because like, so this is I'm dead on this. I'm dead with you on this, right? Because Prosh, I've turned him like Prosh was like my boy, right?
Yep.
Had it forever. Still probably I still have the most fond memories playing him, right? But it's too powerful. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna sunset Prosh. I'm gonna bring back Sekuar, the Death Speaker, right? But then I was like, well, what if I want to play Prosh? So all that to say this, I was like, do I just scrap them both? And I was like, no, we do exactly that. There's like 10 cards that are garbage or like way out of price or way out of place in Prosh that are good in Sekuzar and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's easy to be like, I'm just gonna keep these, and it's like $10 or $15 worth of cards, right? You're like,
Sure.
okay, cool. We don't need to optimize this, but I love that idea being like, do I want to play this? Do I want to build this deck as something that's a little bit more like less oppressive, or do I want to build it where it's like I know that it's gonna be me versus the world, so I need to put in all the removal, all of the enchantments, all that stuff too. So I think that's genius. Like I think it's the way to go with this one for sure.
Huzzah. Well,
Mm.
now we're at the end of the episode. And if you guys
Mm.
enjoyed it, please subscribe to us on YouTube and on Twitch. Make sure you guys hit the alert so you know when we go live. Tune in for even, 5-10 minutes. Say hello in the chat. I know Tuck monitors that stuff. But also,
I'm
if you
on it.
listen to this on the audio format, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, leave a little review. We like seeing those friendly comments. If you'd like to get a hold of us, here's the best way to do that. You can get at me at Mr. Comment number 5 on Twitter, all spelled out except for that 5. Big Tuck, I think we maybe talked about this precast or it might have been postcast, whichever cast. What's your Twitter and what's your gimmick that you're now going to start doing?
At Big Tuck tweeting is where you can find me, and I think I've got the combination of it. We'll take the celebrity thing, but now I'm just going to start tagging celebrities in my wing posts. Like at Jared Leto, you ever see these kind of wings before? Do you like that? That's it.
That's pretty
It's gonna
good.
happen. That's my 23. That's my 23 goal. That's my stretch goal for the
That's
Twitter.
your stretch goal.
That's my stretch goal for the Twitter.
Oh man, you can get a hold of our primary account at CMD Tower on Twitter as well. You can also go to the website where we will have YouTube because I got the video fixed for this one. Now I'm just
Nice.
saving it straight to my desktop, just instead of saving it to the cloud. Um, so, gosh, lost my train of thought. cmdtower.com/bnbe168. We will have our picks on there, and yeah, great single way to see all the content. And remember, there's a myriad of ways that you can help support our channel. Patreon.com/CMD Tower, Etsy.com, CMD Tower in that search bar, or AbyssProxyShop.com. Code CMD Tower for 10% off at checkout. All three ways are ways that you can directly financially help our channel. Let us know that Tuck and I aren't wasting our time and give us fulfillment in life, which we are not getting in other areas. So, Big Tuck, Theory Crafting, Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor. How do you feel? Do you feel like we talked about the cards that are going to really make you want to build it, or did we
Yes.
maybe miss the mark a little much?
No, I don't think so. I think it's. I think we both. I like that we both came at it from different angles, right? And I could see both of them working. So what I'm most excited about is like I think I have enough of an idea, and you gave me some really good ideas of like filler and especially like big yeast cards, like
Hmm.
the shoulder, like especially like the shoulder or the Velas and the God Eternal, right? As like this is how you close out the game, which I can kind of see this deck struggling with because it is that 75% deck card. So
Hmm.
I really like the idea of building it kind of twice, or at least like having the fringe cards that in and out. So I'm really excited. Like I think this is going to be. I'm hoping that this is going to be the final deck that breaks through my mono black slump I've been in since pretty much I built the damn thing.
Yeah. I'll be interested to play against this once you actually get it
But
fleshed
you will
out.
never play it yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if this would be my kind of deck. Because I would need a lot of ways to loop my graveyard back to my hand, so then that way I could do it again. Just because, like, like you made the comment when I talked about Villas, like, are we decking ourselves?
Yeah, are we just killing her?
Um,
Is this just kill myself dot deck?
yeah. So that would be my biggest challenge with it,
Right.
because I would want to, like you do, activate that 7 as many times as I can, discard as many cards as I
Yep.
can every time I do it, and hopefully my opponents have some cool stuff in their decks. Oh my gosh, could you imagine getting a counter activated ability once you discard all those cards and pay 7?
Oh, it'd
Oh,
be horror. Oh,
oh God,
I'd be like, I'm done. I'm
I
done
quit.
here. This is it. This is
But
over
yeah,
for
no,
me.
that's really the only thing that I really see as a potential challenge for me, and that's why
Yeah.
I want to see you play it. But I know you've been searching for that mono black itch to scratch, and
Yeah.
maybe this is
Yeah.
the one. I mean, it is more fun, and potentially, I think even though you didn't build this deck this way because there's just not enough support for it, maybe in 3 years, Stuck, Gix is really powerful because they've done a lot of mono black and colorless goad or
Yeah.
attack opponents. Because that's actually where I think this deck thrives. Kind of like how my
Hmm.
KT deck, like, hey, my commander does kind of give everyone a benefit, but I'm going to constantly force you to attack each other while
Right.
still getting benefits. And then that way I kind of get left alone to do my own stuff. I
To do
actually
your own
think that's the
machinations. Yeah.
real version of this deck.
That
There's just
that
not
would be
enough
awesome.
support
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. That would be that like if I could get to that point, that would be amazing, right? But for now, I think I'm just gonna have to be on the offensive.
Yep.
It's gonna be like 4th and 10. I don't know. I don't know enough about football anymore to know if that's a good offensive player or not.
Well, 4th and 10, usually you're punting. And with that, we're punting this episode. Bye.